Cultivated Land by Lizzie Wardock and Katie Prusachik. The value of natural goods and services provided by land used for cultivation is determined by many factors, including the benefits of the land being used for agriculture and the products that are rendered versus what the land would naturally produce had it been left to its natural processes. Mostly, land is valued based on the goods and services it provides economically, not ecologically. It is also valued much more based on the direct impacts it may have on human beings rather than the benefits to the natural environment. For instance, land would have a higher value if it were cultivated rather than preserved because there would be crop yields that would directly benefit human beings versus being left on its own and only rendering clean air. Here are a few examples of goods and services provided by cultivated land. Soil has many layers that purify water. Trees provide lumber to build homes and make paper. Plants reduce the amount of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, so cultivated land provides clean air. Leather provides clothing, furniture, and horse tackle. Fuel includes coal, natural gas, wood, and oil. Finally, raw minerals are used for structural purposes, pipes, cars, and industry. Year after year, without any effort or input from human beings, ecosystems produce their goods and services for free. The capital in ecosystems is estimated to total $41 trillion. The loss of these ecosystems will have a short-term economic benefit, but also a long-term loss in regulating and supporting services, resulting in an impact on people's well-being. To maintain these ecosystems, we have devised a plan to conserve our goods and services. Let's take a look. Water. The use of organic pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers will ensure clean water. No-till agriculture practices keep water clean by minimizing the amount of runoff that may contain dangerous levels of phosphorus, nitrogen, and potassium. The maintenance of surrounding wetlands is important to the purification of water. Trees. Maintaining trees is important to ecosystem capital, and because they are not renewable resources, whenever the capital they hold is liquidized, the trees are cut down. They should be replanted. Trees continue biodiversity, maintain habitats for organisms, and are good for the environment because trees convert carbon dioxide to oxygen. And they are good for soil because when a branch breaks off or when the tree dies, it will decay and the nutrients will go into the soil. Companies like Procter & Gamble, who use a lot of lumber, have policies where for every tree they cut down, 3 more are planted in its place. Clean air. In cultivated areas, there's a lot of clean air naturally because cultivated areas are rural. But to maintain clean air, agriculture machinery must be used at a minimum due to the diesel exhaust. There is also a method of spraying crops to minimize the amount of dust loss. Leather. It should not be viewed as an open access commons. Most cultivated land is either owned privately by small farms or corporations, which is better to control over exploitation. Also, to maintain the abundance of leather and therefore cows, research science should be used. Finally, local, state, and federal laws should be made to regulate the use of these natural resources and should be enforced. Fuel. Fuel is a very fickle resource and should be used with caution as to not overuse it. To do this, the precautionary principle should be used to create limits. Then, with the limits in place, they should be enforced. Finally, the economic incentives that surround fuel should be eliminated to stop the exploitation of this limited resource by finding better fuel alternatives and more efficient methods of using fuel. Raw minerals. Raw minerals are found in many regions of land and should be owned by private, communal, or state tenure to prevent open access commons. Also, the land should be owned by a group of people who should be involved in decisions regarding the minerals and should have a share in all the profits. Finally, for the people who live off the resource, their well-being should be taken into high account.